This is planet Earth. It weighs about 6 septillion kilograms. Now, according to scientific research, millions of creatures have lived on Earth and eventually gone extinct. All of these mass extinctions happened between 635 million years ago and today. Considering the Earth being over 4.6 billion years old, there are lots of hidden information mankind is yet to discover. Now, death is the sole counterpart of life. Extinction, on the other hand, is also the sole counterpart of evolution. According to research, over 99% of all the animal species that have lived on Earth are already extinct. About 252 million years ago, during the Permian period, the greatest natural disaster of all time took place. The largest volcanic eruption in history took place, wiping about 90% of all animal species at that time. That event is named the Great Dying. Apart from this disaster, quite a number of catastrophic disasters have also occurred, all amounting to 5 catastrophic disasters in the history of planet Earth. If you watch closely, all these disasters have one cause: harsh climate conditions. Now, judging from all these previous disasters, it is clear that there is one undisputed fact about climate change. For every catastrophic disaster that occurs, it is all the complex life forms on Earth which seem to suffer the most. Planet Earth as a system still seems to be orbiting around the Sun smoothly. After enduring countless of explosions and collisions from asteroids, planet Earth still remains in a perfect shape, ever ready for the next biggest disaster. Now, what will be the fate of humans, in case there is any? Now, almost all the disasters that took place happened with the help of one destructive agent: fire. Since the 21st century began, the year 2021 has been the worst year for forest fires. In the year 2022, 2.2% of the world's land area was consumed by fire. 2.2% might seem very small, but considering the fact that the Earth's surface is about 71% water, 2.2% is huge. Now, fire has the highest possibility in terms of putting an end to all complex life forms on Earth. The primary volcanic activity during the Great Dying is attributed to the Siberian Traps, a massive volcanic province in what is now Siberia, Russia. These volcanic eruptions are estimated to have occurred over a span of hundreds of thousands to millions of years, with the most intense eruptions likely lasting for millions of years. This prolonged volcanic activity released massive amounts of lava, covering about 2 million square kilometers of land, and also unleashed tons of volcanic gases and other volcanic materials into the atmosphere. The Earth became so hot that several organisms succumbed to these harsh conditions, eventually disappearing from the fossil record. Fortunately, it seemed that the catastrophic climate conditions of the time of the dinosaurs finally came to rest. But activities on the planet from the 20th to the 21st century is once more trying to wake these harsh climate conditions. There are lots of evidence to back this theory: frequent earthquakes, landslides, volcanic eruptions, wildfires, storms, extreme heat waves, drought, diseases, and countless of them. A lot of people think climate change simply refers to hotter temperatures, but truly speaking, it is just the initial stage of the entire story. You see, planet Earth runs on a natural system. Just a slight change in one area will certainly affect all the remaining parts. This is one clear example. Massive amount of fresh water is stored in glaciers and ice caps. Warmer temperatures on Earth will melt these glaciers and ice caps. After melting, the survival of species like polar bears, seals, and penguins is threatened. Also, sea levels will rise and fresh water will be lost. When sea levels rise, islands and a lot of coastal cities will be submerged, and this catastrophic cycle continues. As said earlier, water covers about 71% of the Earth's surface. The big question is, how much of land area will be submerged in the future as a result of climate change? Less than 10,000 years ago, several parts of the world, which are now deserts, were tropical rainforests and were covered in lush green vegetation. There is enough evidence to suggest that the Sahara Desert was once home to vast and ancient lake system. This period in the Sahara's history is known as the Green Sahara, or the African Humid Period. During this time, which occurred thousands of years ago, the climate in the Sahara region was significantly wetter and more humid than it is today. One of the most well-known of these ancient lakes was Lake Mega Chad, which was once the largest freshwater lake in Africa. Over time, changes in climate and environmental factors led to the desiccation of these lakes. We humans are not the only cause of climate change. Other natural factors also play a role. The shape of Earth's orbit changes approximately every 100,000 years. This is known as the eccentricity cycle. As the Earth moves around the Sun, it sometimes wobbles and falls out of position. Tectonic movements of the Earth's crust also plays a role. As years go by, continents move towards and away from each other. Weather patterns eventually change within the course. A lot of regulations and methods have been adopted to help combat climate change. A huge number of countries is committing to zero emissions by the end of the year 2050, meaning a huge decline in the use of coal, oil and gas. The excessive release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere is the leading cause of global warming. These emissions act like a blanket which covers the Earth's surface, eventually trapping heat from the sun and causing warmer temperatures. A lot of countries have announced a ban on the sale of diesel and petrol cars by the year 2030. As to whether any of these methods will work, it all depends on us, humans, because mankind is the backbone and the greatest living force on Earth. If climate conditions continue to worsen, there is a high risk that past catastrophic disasters will repeat itself, and that day might be the day everything dies. It has been a little over 66 million years since the Earth saw one of the catastrophic disasters in history, a disaster that brought an end to the reign of the dinosaurs and many other creatures. Some of these creatures had powerful and thick skins and the strength of over 100 men put together, but yet they did not stand the chances of survival. Now, comparing how delicate and weak the human body is to these dinosaurs, there can be a clear conclusion that the chances of humans surviving such a catastrophic disaster is slim to none. This is how cruel planet Earth can be. This is the Busy IQ.